I'm going to briefly walk you through my process of making this piece. I'm going to break it down into 6 sections, starting with... Well, nobody cares about this part, so I guess we could just... Whether you're one of those weird people who get all their ideas at 2 a.m. as they silently stare into the void and slowly drown in crippling depression, or you're like me and you get all your ideas at 2 a.m. as you silently stare into the void and slowly drown in crippling depression, you're going to need some reference images. And the best place for that in my experience is Unsplash. It's basically a place where photographers upload very high quality images that you can download for free and use as reference. I found many lighthouses, some of them lonely, some of them very interesting, and then finally I came across the perfect lighthouse. Introducing the Beachy Head Lighthouse, located below the cliffs of Beachy Head in East Sussex, constructed over 100 years ago, around 30 meters tall, that's like a whole basketball court for oil people, and probably weighing thousands of tons, which makes it almost as big and old as your mom. When I'm done, I drag all my references into a PureRef file, which is a free software that keeps track of your images and you can add notes and everything to it. And with everything in place, I'm ready to start. In Blender, delete the default cube. Import your reference, rotate and adjust it the way you want. Add a cylinder and set the depth to 30 meters to match the height of our lighthouse. Scale up your reference to fit the height of the cylinder, and then scale up your cylinder in the Y and X axis to fit the width of the top section of the lighthouse. Add a bunch of loop cuts and select the bottom loop. Then turn on proportional editing, set it to sharp, and then scale the selection in X and Y axes until it fits the shape of your reference. Add a bevel modifier with 2 segments and a sub-D modifier with 2 levels. To make the top platform, select the highest loop, extrude and scale it out, then extrude it up, then select the lower loop and bevel and add a few segments. To make the base, select the area and separate it from the original mesh. Then in edit mode, select the bottom loop and separate it from this mesh. Scale it out, then extrude it up, scale it in, extrude it up, in, 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 until you're done. Delete the old meshes and then remove the top and bottom faces. To make the bottom platform, add a cube and subdivide it 5 times. Then trace out the shape of your stairs on one side, extrude it out, then do the same with the other side. Do some adjustments and add a bevel modifier and a sub-D modifier. And finally, put the mesh in place. To make the ladder, add a cylinder, scale it down on X and Y axes, move it to the side and scale it up in the Z axis. Select the top face and then use the spin tool to create the curve on top of the ladder. Extrude and use the spin tool again to create the second curve. And finally, extrude down. For the last time, use the spin tool to create the curves at the bottom. Make an empty and add a mirror modifier on the Y axis. Choose the empty as object offset. Add a cylinder and scale it down, then use an array modifier to create the steps. Do some final adjustments, add some things here and there, and your ladder is done. Use some curved cylinders for the base ladder and some slightly modified cylinders for the lower platform's railing, and do the same for the highest platform's railing. To create the top compartment, add a cylinder, scale it up, remove the top and bottom faces, add some loop cuts, shade it smooth, add a loop cut at the bottom and extrude the bottom portion to make it a little bit bigger. Then add a solidify, subdivision, and a bevel modifier. To create the fence, add a circle curve, then add a plane, subdivide it 3 times, rotate it, unsubdivide it using a decimate modifier to get that 45-degree rotation in your edges. Apply and add a wireframe modifier and an array modifier and scale everything into place. To make the roof, add a UV sphere. In edit mode, select the bottom half of it, then delete it. Add a subdivision modifier and extrude and scale the top part to make that spiky thing at the top. To make the arrow, add a plane, rotate it, subdivide it a bunch of times and trace the shape of your arrow using face selection. Then separate it from this mesh and add a solidify and a subdivision modifier to it. Then you have to just move around and scale the vertices to get the shape that you want. Finally, create some circle curves and adjust their depths to finish up your railings. A modified cylinder, some toruses and curves, a modified plane, some tweaks here and there, and the model is finished. Before exporting, we're going to join up few small pieces of geometry to make big chunks. We also want to get rid of any excess geometry that we have. For the unwrapping part, I'm just going to use UV projection and pack islands for every piece of geometry that I have, because later on I'm going to use triplanar method of texturing inside Substance Painter, which is basically UV-less. And I'm going to assign simple materials consisting of just a base color to everything. This will allow Substance Painter to use color ID and separate every individual piece of geometry. Finally, apply all transforms and export as FBX. Now might be a very good time for you to take a break, go outside, and maybe talk to some women, because this is not healthy. I mean, I'm not gonna do it, but you definitely should. And if you're a woman watching this, I'm like 6'5", and I'm definitely not lying about my height, because that's because we should just get into. Drag your FBX into Substance Painter, set the document resolution to 4K and normal format to OpenGL. Press OK. Go to Texture Set Setting, scroll down and select Bake Mesh Maps. Set the output size to 4K, uncheck position, and bake selected textures. Now, as this is baking, you should know that I would really appreciate it if you would like the video and subscribe, so I can quit my day job and do this full time and not die of hunger, obviously. Please. To start the texturing process, I'm going to solo our massive shaft. For our base material, I'm going to use a PBR texture, make a fill layer just for the height, set to triplanar projection, and adjust the tiling. Make separate layers for roughness and base color. Use a levels effect to adjust the strength of your height. Add a HSL effect to adjust the color of your base color, and use another levels to adjust the strength of your roughness. Put all these layers inside a new folder and call it whatever you want, I don't care. Now I'm just going to duplicate all of my layers and use a black mask to rotate the texture on that beveled part of the top platform, because it looks weird as fuck. I'm going to use the steel painted preset texture to create two color variations, white and red. And using a black mask and selection tools, I'm going to assign them where I want. For roughness, I'm going to create a separate layer and use a grunge texture to control the shape of it. Then I'm going to use a levels effect to control the strength. I'm going to create a very dark base color with a different grunge texture for its roughness, and I'm going to use it as dirt. Then I'm going to use a black mask and use some alpha textures to manually paint in details, scratches, and dirt spots onto my mesh. For the platform, we're going to have a base material, then a second color variation, then some moss, some dirt, and some rust. The base is a PBR material. The second variation is going to use a levels to make it darker, and then I'm going to apply a black mask and paint in the bottom portion of the mesh, because naturally it's going to be in contact with water. It's supposed to be darker. I made the moss using a grunge texture placed in the height and roughness slot of a fill layer set to green. Then added a black mask to everything and used a dripping rust generator and just adjusted it until I liked the way it looked. Dirt is the same thing we used in the shaft, and rust drips were made by using an orange base color with a grunge for its roughness. Then I manually painted it in where metal came in contact with concrete using alpha textures as stencils. Ladders and railings use a preset rust texture with the levels to create a second darker variations for the chains. The base uses the exact same material as the platform with an added height map. Finally, the head uses the steel painted stained preset set to red with a gold variation for the arrow. Export everything using a cycles preset, and then we go back to Blender to apply these textures. Back in Blender, open up the shader editor. Then load up your image textures and hook them up to the proper slots on the BSDF node. Base color with a color space of sRGB hooked up to the base color, metallic to metallic, and roughness to roughness. Both of them have a color space of non-color. And finally, the normal map, which should be connected to a normal map node, connected to the normal slot on the BSDF node. Repeat the same process for the ladder. Same process for the shaft, but there's going to be one extra step. We're going to add a displace modifier, and we're going to use our height map that we exported from Substance Painter to drive our texture. We're going to adjust the strength and mid-level, and then add a subsurf division modifier and set it up to as high as the PC can handle. This way we are actually pushing vertices around and getting the shape into our geometry. This is going to react with the shadows very realistically, and it's going to end up helping our render a lot. Repeat the same process for the platform and the base. To add a door and some windows to our shaft, we're going to use the Archimesh add-on, which comes built in with Blender. To get more windows, we're going to duplicate one of them and then add an empty and use the empty as a pivot point to rotate the duplicated window around the shaft. Add a simple material to everything except for the glass, because we're going to do that in Unreal. And add a cylinder for the glass of that highest compartment. Export and open. In Unreal, make a new basic level and drag your model in. Check build nanite and import all. I'm going to download some basic models and a sand texture for our floor from Quixel, Unreal's built-in asset library, which by the way is also completely free, which is mind-blowing for the quality that you're getting. I'm also going to enable Unreal's water plugin from the plugin section. I'm going to switch to landscape mode and put the sand texture that we got from Quixel in the material slot, and I'm going to uncheck the enable edit layers because later on we're going to sculpt the landscape ourselves. Then from that add menu, I'm going to choose all classes and search for water body ocean and drag it in. I'm going to scale down the handles, then adjust them on the center because I don't want an island in the middle. I'm going to drag in my lighthouse model as well as the ultra dynamic sky plugin, which we'll talk about later. Then I'm going to use the models that I downloaded from Quixel and place them around. I also use the glass material for that top compartment and the windows. If you want to learn how to make it, you can just search on YouTube. Switch to landscape mode, and now you're going to see a very fast time lapse of me sculpting the landscape. Keep in mind that this shit takes a lot of time. The video that you're seeing now is sped up 70 times. Is that how you say it? Multiplied by 70 times? I'm not sure. Anyways, now I'm going to drag in this palm tree model that I got for free from Sketchfab and adjust it. And I'm also going to drag in this model of a boat that I also got for free from Sketchfab and adjust it. Then I'm going to add in a Cine Camera Actor, pilot it, and I'm really tired of saying this, but adjust it. For lighting, instead of Unreal's basic lighting setup or an HDR backdrop, I'm going to be using Ultra Dynamic Sky. It's an incredibly versatile and useful plugin that you can get from the marketplace. Under basic controls, I use the time of day slider to set the scene around early morning and sunrise. Set the project mode to cinematic/offline and increase cloud coverage, fog, overall intensity, contrast, saturation, and directional balance. Under volumetric clouds, I changed the bottom altitude to get the clouds a bit higher, increase volumetric clouds scale, layer height scale, base cloud scale, and tweak the noise setting to get the clouds to look a bit more realistic. Don't forget to also change the rendering mode from background only clouds to fully cinematic. Even though we're not going to see the sun, it's important to adjust its intensity, radius, softness, and angle because it's the main light source in our scene. To get the moon in our scene, we're going to click render moon and then adjust its angle, inclination, vertical offset, scale, and phase. Adjust the fog's density and its color and add volumetric fog. Add the stars and increase their tiling and intensity. Since there is really no right way of doing this, I'm just going to be tweaking every setting and adjusting everything until I'm satisfied with it. By the way, if you're interested, I have included all the FBX files for this project in the description, so you can make your own version of this if you're interested. That was too interested in one sentence. When I'm done, I'm going to create a level sequence and drag my camera in it. I'm going to set up my FPS from 30 to 24 to get a more cinematic feeling, set up the focus, and to animate the camera, I'm just going to use two simple keyframes, one at the beginning and one at the end. And I'm going to use a simple smart interpolation between the two keyframes so the camera eases out and eases in. To add some local fog, I'm going to use the Easy Fog plugin, which is a collection of fog cards made by William Fauché. You can either get this or you can make your own. I'm sure there's a tutorial somewhere for it on YouTube. For the birds in the background, I'm just going to use a simple Niagara system. It's like a particle system that emits objects with a simple animation. In this case, it's a simple bird model flapping its wings. I'm pretty sure you can get this on the marketplace as well. There's also a plugin available. It's called Background Birds. I don't have it, but seems really cool. To finish up in Unreal, set up the movie render queue, remove the JPEG export, add an EXR, and add anti-aliasing. Set up a path, hit render local, wait for the render to finish, and we're ready for... Inside DaVinci Resolve, I'm going to add a vignette to draw focus to the center. I'm going to add a glow, some film grain to mimic film grain of real cameras, and a camera shake to add a natural feeling to it since the camera is hovering above water. I'm also going to do a bit of color grading. Then in Edit tab, I'm going to crop the top and bottom a bit to make it a little bit more cinematic, and I'm going to render the final version. Now you're going to have a 10-second window where you're going to love it. Then you're going to realize that you just wasted hours of your life trying to make this, and you're never gonna know if it was worth it or not. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, I've left a little hidden message at the end of this video.